good morning, everybody. Where are you watching from? In the comments, drop your native country, your native language. This is Jenny, and I apologize for the unprofessional look. I'm in a bikini top and a tank top. Usually I look a little bit nicer, but right now my AC is out. It went out yesterday at about 3 p.m. and it is very hot here. So I am very hot. Didn't sleep a whole lot last night, but I'm trying to stay in good spirits. So let's carry on with part 5 of feelings, reactions, and emotions. I'm going to try to get all of this in just one more video, but I also don't want it to be too long, so let me go ahead and skip along and see how far we can get. I feel like five videos in one series is enough, but we'll just see how far we get. Okay, so idioms that are related to feelings, reactions, and emotions. The first one would be to get a grip on yourself. Okay, have you ever heard the word grip? G-R-I-P. Grip is when you have your palm, your hand, and you squeeze it. Okay? Grip can be a verb, and it could also be a noun. Like, wow, you have a really strong grip. Or she was gripping her purse out of fear that the pedestrians would rob her in the night as she walked by. Grip. Grip. So if this is get a grip on yourself, it means you try to control your feelings so as to be able to deal with the situation. So imagine emotionally you're like you're all worked up. Remember, that was from one of the previous videos. You're all worked up. And if you get a grip, it's like saying that you grab a hold of yourself and say, hey, calm down. Get a logical mind to be able to make decisions and handle what is going on. So the next one would be keep a stiff upper lip. A stiff upper lip. Lips. Upper lip is this one. A bottom lip is this one. Like, I bit my bottom lip while I was eating my food. To keep a stiff upper lip, that means that you contain your emotion and do not let other people see your feelings. For example, when the bad news was announced, she kept a stiff upper lip. That means like she didn't wear her emotions on her sleeve or wear her heart on her sleeve. Remember that from a previous video in the series? Keep a stiff upper lip. Like, for example, if I know that you're going to get bad news at work, maybe I'm in management and I know that you are about to get fired or reported for something, and you're my friend, I could say, hey, today at work, you're not going to get good news. I just want to give you a heads up. I just want to give you a warning. I want you to know so that you can keep a stiff upper lip. Okay, the next one would be makes your ears burn. Ears burn. If something makes your ears burn, you are embarrassed by what you hear, especially if the conversation is about you. Their sentence example is, the comments I overheard made my ears burn. So for example, if you and I are talking about maybe a mutual friend, Sally, and then all of a sudden Sally walks in, I could say, hey, are your ears burning? And she would know that I'm saying we were just talking about you. And she walked in. The next one would be to lick one's wounds. When a person licks their wounds, they try to rediscover their confidence or spirits after a defeat, failure, or disappointment. Poor Hugo is licking his wounds after being dropped from the team. To lick one's wounds. Maybe if you get divorced, this is just an example, an extreme example, but if you get divorced, that's a big wound. So if someone, like even a few months, like after they said, hey, are you dating anyone new? Or do you have a new, like maybe a romantic interest? You could say, oh, I'm going to need lots of time to lick my wounds before I'm ready to open my heart to a new person. The next one would be, couldn't give a hoot. And we also say, and I'm going to use profanity, I believe in being real, and in every language we use slang and we use cuss words, but This is kind of an old-fashioned way to say it, like, I don't give a hoot. And that's really an option of what to say instead of saying, I don't give a shit, or I don't give a fuck. That's really how we talk. I don't give a fuck. I couldn't give a fuck. I couldn't give a shit. Means to say that you don't or couldn't give a hoot means that you don't care at all about something. For example, she wears eccentric clothes, but she couldn't give a hoot about what others think. The next one would be to look on the bright side. To look on the bright side. If you look on the bright side, you view a mostly unpleasant situation in a positive and optimistic way and see the favorable aspects. Like someone who's like, she's always looking on the bright side. It's amazing that in spite of so many frustrating factors, she still always finds a way to look on the bright side. Or you could say, man, I'm feeling really discouraged about my life situation. I'm going to talk to my friend Gina for maybe some advice or some different perspective because she always looks on the bright side. To have a lump in your throat. A lump. A lump is like a lump. If you have a lump in your throat, it means you have a tight feeling in your throat because of a strong emotion, such as sadness or gratitude. The speech was so touching that I had a lump in my throat. Or you could say I really wanted to respond to that emotional email. Or no, this would be in regards to being able to speak. I really wanted to speak my part in regards to the things that she had to say, but I couldn't because of the lump in my throat. The lump in my throat wouldn't let me express myself. Okay, the next one would be hot under the collar. If you get hot under the collar, you feel annoyed, indignant, or embarrassed. If anyone criticizes his proposals, Joe immediately gets hot under the collar. And we often also, at least in Oklahoma, we would say this in reference to when you get mad. Like, oof, how are you feeling today? Oof, I'm a little hot under the collar. And it's not the Oklahoma sun. I am upset about the situation. The next one would be makes your flesh crawl. Something that makes your flesh crawl fills you with disgust or makes you very nervous. Sentence example. Just talking about snakes makes my flesh crawl. Okay, moving right along. To open or reopen old wounds. If you open or reopen old wounds, you revive memories of an unpleasant event, situation, or dispute that took place in the past. Sentence example. He carefully avoided the subject so as not to open old wounds. I could add more comments to this, and I guess maybe I will, because this is real talk from a native speaker, and maybe it will help you to open. But when we heal wounds, like, it doesn't hurt when other people touch them. It doesn't have to. You know? Yeah, I don't know. That's enough. Proud as a peacock. A person who is as proud as a peacock is extremely proud. Because imagine, what do peacocks do? They strut around. And they open their feathers like, whoa, everybody look at me. A person, when his son won first prize, Bill was as proud as a peacock. Okay. The next one would be pleased as punch. Someone who is as proud or pleased as punch is delighted or feels very satisfied about something. Just pleased as punch. I'm just as pleased as punch about who won the World Cup. We support Argentina over here. The next one would be reduce someone to tears. If your behavior or attitude makes someone cry, you reduce them to tears. The teacher criticized her presentation so harshly that she was reduced to tears. To regain your composure. If you regain your composure, you calm down and control your emotions again after a stressful or upsetting event. It took her a while to regain her composure after hearing the insulting remarks. Regaining your composure, for example, let's say have a big emotional blow. Maybe something happened. There was a fight, an accusation, somebody insulted me, and I let it affect me, and I'm worked up. Remember that? Something in my eye. And I get worked up, and I'm like, I am really upset. And I can see that. Maybe I'm at work when it happens, and then I'm like, I'm trying to focus on my job. Then I could say, I need 5 minutes to go to the bathroom and regain my composure, which means you let all of it come out, splash water on your face, and you come back out with composure. You're composed instead of falling apart. To save face. When someone saves face, they manage to avoid humiliation or embarrassment and preserve their dignity and the respect of others. Sentence example. They allowed him to save face by accepting his resignation. All right, the next one, this is funny. We say this a lot. Put your foot in your mouth. Your foot, like your feet. 1 foot, 2 feet. Put your foot in your mouth. If you put your foot in your mouth, you say something that offends, upsets, or embarrasses someone. Jenny really put her foot in her mouth when she mentioned the housewarming party because Andy had not been invited. Oops. Put your foot in your mouth. And when you realize it, when you say something and then you realize, ooh, I shouldn't have said that. And we can even make a funny joke out of it. We would say, open mouth, insert foot. Or that was a real foot in mouth moment. Okay, just a couple more here. In a stew. When someone is in a stew about something, they are worried and agitated. For example, when she was organizing the wedding reception, Laura got into a stew over the seating arrangements. You could also say, like, I'm just really in a stew about what to do about my new job option. I have mixed feelings. Do you remember that idiom from the series? I have mixed feeling. I'm really in a stew about it because I have mixed feelings. I feel conflicted or I feel divided. I'm not sure which path to take. Looking on the bright side of staying at this company, and I'm looking at the bright side of also moving on. Both sides has pluses and minuses, or advantages and disadvantages. Stormy relationship. If you have a stormy relationship with someone, you have a lot of arguments, disagreements, or misunderstandings. Sentence example. After a very stormy relationship, they decided to separate. Just 2 more, and then we'll be done with the series. Sweet nothings. Pleasant but unimportant words that lovers say to each other are called sweet nothings. He whispered sweet nothings in her ear as they dance. Like I could even say being sarcastic or cheesy, baby, why don't you come over here and whisper some sweet nothings in my ear? Some sweet nothings. Okay, our last one. Take a fancy to someone or something. If you take a fancy to someone or something, you develop a fondness for them or begin to like them. So if I'm really taking a fancy to maybe a new hobby, I'm taking a fancy to learning how to sew or learning how to knit a blanket. I'm really taking a fancy to this new pottery class I'm taking, or I'm really taking a fancy to this new guy I'm going out with, or I'm taking a fancy to this new system they have implemented at work. It can be a person or a thing, but it means you're starting to like them and starting to be open to it and really get the hang of it, to really enjoy it. Okay, that's enough for this series. This completes a series talking about feelings, reactions, and emotions. So again, like I've stated in my past videos, if there are pieces of this that have really resonated with you, I hope that you could write them down as you watch my videos, because not only watching me say these things as a native speaker and give an explanation and a sentence example, that helps bring you understanding. If you also write it down while you do those things, that concretes the learning process in the cognitive realm of your brain. And then if you also hang what you write down up on the wall and that you can see it in a personal space multiple times a day, every day, like you can do this maybe for 2 or 3 new idioms a week. It depends on what your learning process is. If you can do more, do more. Always do more if you can. Depends on your goals. But then it's like you make a triangle that bridges the learning process for fluency. So, and also if you would like to use any of these idioms in your own sentence and drop them in the comments below, I would love to see them. My classroom is a safe place for you to practice, be out of your comfort zone, keep growing. If you feel that my content is bringing you some kind of value to your life and you appreciate what I'm bringing to the table, I would love for you to subscribe, share with your friends, and support the work that I do. So if everything I do with love and joy in my heart, and I am going to get started on our next series. Everybody have an awesome day.